We're live here in San Diego. Welcome. The men's national championship game has just concluded. Ring of Fire defeating New York PoNY 13-12 on Universe Point, and we are with PoNY coach Brian Jones, and I will pass it over to Nolan for the first question.
Hi, Coach. I want to ask you about defense. It looked like they were doing a lot of handler-driven offense and very disciplined. Can you talk about what strategies you used defensively? It looked a little bit like you were moving Lindsay around to try to create mismatches. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, I think it wasn't just like moving Lindsay around to get mismatches. It was, you go through a game and Jack and Oscar are incredible players, and Saul Yannick is, he's young, but at this point you can call him an incredible player. And so with some of the other guys they have on their team, you're trying to figure it out. Durs was a problem early on, Anders Jungst. He was getting open, and we knew that he was really good. And it just, he's kind of like Joel Schlackett, but he's faster, I think, and has this deep threat ability that really changed the shape of the field. And so that was in the second half, was you didn't want to go down without trying different things.
Mm-hmm. And just following up on that, it looks like you did a zone point towards the end. I think it was the 12th point.
Yes.
It was 12, 12, 12, 11. Can you talk about what you guys were trying to do with that zone defense, that look?
We didn't want to lose a game without throwing zone.
All right.
Hey, Chris, it seemed like as Nationals wore on and as the season wore on, you and Jimmy got really, really strong in the reset space. How did the two of you finding your step help PoNY's offense stay steady throughout the whole tournament, throughout the final?
It's definitely not just me and Jimmy. We had talked about wanting to, if we were going to go out, making sure, we were involved. I think last year against Machine, it felt like we kind of left something on the table, and we didn't want that to happen again. And so we had some discussions about wanting to make sure we were getting ourselves involved and getting into that mindset of wanting to be more involved in the handler set and be aggressive getting the disc, especially when things get tight against a strong defensive team like Ring. So it's definitely something we shifted towards as things got tight, but we still rely heavily on Harper and Sean and John Randolph, Sam, to get back in that handler set. And that's something we've been relying on all season, and I don't think it really changed much as we got deeper in this tournament. Aside from defenses get better, things get tighter, your dump set isn't always going to be run perfectly, and at a certain point, sometimes you have to just go get the disc.
BJ, as the game gets deeper and deeper and deeper and stays on serve, what is your messaging like for the team to try to push them to try to find that break?
Yeah, I think it was a matter of we needed to make a play, and we needed one of them, and we didn't get it in the second half, unfortunately. We wanted to make them shoot more. We had a good game plan to really limit their huck looks. Especially, I think they kind of when they're operating really beautifully, they look a little bit like Japan. And so we did that part of the game plan really well. We knew we could make it into a one-way force game, and when we got there, we just didn't clamp down kind of hard enough. And so the messaging was let's get tight, let's force a huck look. And, we knew that you come down to the wire there on Universe, they've been working it up all game long. We needed to force something deep, and they hit the shot. And, it's looking back on it, we're going to wish that we had forced them out more and gotten them to throw those hucks more.
You've both been a part of a lot of really high-level games in this tournament and throughout the course of the club division. Where does this rank? We saw incredible offense from both teams throughout this entire contest.
I think it's an incredible game. It's an incredible showcase of Ultimate. The only thing, my one gripe here, my one vent, USAU, 13-12. Come on, let's play to 15. This is too short of a game. I think I looked at halftime and that cap was at 27 minutes to go. I couldn't believe it. I think with the +1, this game could have been even better, and you could have really gone in the wire and had those punches and counter punches. And so, two great teams. It's I'm sad now, but we'll look back at how good this game is at some point. But I don't know.
What was the decision to start on defense? It ends up being one break apiece, and you lose because you started on D instead of O. You can look at it that way. Do you second guess that?
No, we really needed, our identity was about defensive energy. And I think for us, we had those couple break chances that we turned over in the first half. And if we hit one of those, you flip the script. And then you can be even on breaks in the total amount of games. So for us, it just meant converting one of those breaks. We felt good about the game plan. It got us turns early. And we just didn't put them away.
Chris, you guys had some adversity. You come in as a lower seeded team, and yet, you come out, you play at a really high level. Obviously disappointing not to come out with the victory, but how did you go from where you were during the season to where you got to here in the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I think we always had confidence in ourselves as a team. I think we kind of knew we weren't the typical 9 seed going into nationals. We expected to be in this game. I think, obviously the beginning of our season didn't go great, but it was a ramp for us. Like, we knew we were on a ramp to get to this game at nationals, put ourselves in a position to win a national championship, which is what we did. And unfortunately we came up short, but that was the goal of the whole season. We weren't trying to peak at US Open or Pro Champs. We wish things had gone better, don't get me wrong. We were not trying to lose the first 3 games at Pro Champs, but we knew when it came down to it, and at nationals we'd been here before. We knew the level of intensity. We knew how tight things get. We knew we had the personnel to be in a really close, tight game throughout quarters, semis, finals, and this was always our expectation. And yeah, I mean, our whole team believed that we could be in this situation and win this game.
Why couldn't your defense find success the same way that they have most of this tournament? I mean, it's been look one of the best D lines. You destroy Sockeye yesterday, and it was hard to get the disc away from them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we played wind all weekend, and that was really beneficial in a way. You can force out with a lot of confidence that you're going to make a miss, and I think we didn't. We had a good game plan, but we didn't clamp down in the way we wanted to. We were a little too loose, which got us some turns early, but we just didn't get tight enough. And so that's just something, we'll have a long, long time to think about that. In these close games, any one thing could have made the difference. And yeah.
You both mentioned you felt like after the last season you had something left on the table, and in this one, with a game this close, that might not have necessarily the same sentiment, but what are the takeaways you have from this game, something that you guys maybe need to build upon working into this next season?
I mean, I don't know if there's that much we should have done this differently or that differently. I think it's at a certain level, sometimes shit just doesn't go your way. We had a couple miscues when we got the disc. They had a couple miscues. There's an element of luck that goes into this. It's a highly skilled game that's going on, but we could play that game a ton of times and we're probably going to win some of them. And it's how we react to those moments. And I think all season we did a good job of reacting to things that didn't go our way, things that did go our way, understanding that we need to stay even keeled throughout that process. A season's a long time. A nationals is a really long tournament. Stuff didn't go perfectly the whole time. So I don't know. I don't think. I mean, yeah, maybe we force them out a little more, but also maybe they just hit a bunch of deep hucks, and we're thinking why didn't we make them work it up the field? At a certain point, that team's very talented. There were not a lot of turns in that game. It was a really high-level game. Things didn't go our way at the end, but I'm proud of the way we fought. And I mean, we had a couple times where it's we turned it on O, and they could have put us away, and I was really proud of the way we were able to fight back and put ourselves in a spot to win that game on 1 point. I think if you asked us at the beginning of the season, you're playing 1 D point to win a national championship, we're probably taking that and feeling confident that we can pull out a win there. And I think we felt confident going into that point. The D line we have out there, we feel like we can get a takeaway anytime we're going out. So I don't know. I don't have obviously I wish it went differently, but I don't have any huge takeaways as far as what we should have done differently.
Before the season, PoNY asked for them different levels of commitment from its players than it has in the past. We see, Jack Williams, Ryan Osgaard, 2 New York residents who are playing for Ring of Fire in this game. Can you talk about how that level of commitment brought you some success this season?
We asked for a level of commitment that was like, Yacht is playing on our team, Marquez, Katz, like, we definitely asked for a level of commitment to like play the club season, and like some guys decided like they didn't want to do that, and like that's totally their decision, and it's totally fine. I think we for the guys that weren't playing in a different division or playing in the UDL, like we wanted it needed to feel like a season for them too, and it's hard to have a majority of a team like not able to practice or participate until later, and it's everyone's own decision, and like, you know, it was the right decision for Ring. So like, I don't know. I don't know if that really answered it. I think it's like we wanted people to commit, but also like we made exceptions and like wanted to win and wanted the best players on our team, and like would have made more exceptions, I think. So I don't know. Do you have anything to say about it?
I mean, we had a great season in terms of building this team identity. We had incredible moments together, and it doesn't feel great right now, but you know, you make those decisions, and we knew what it would come down to. It's like those guys who are on the other side of the field are great players, and in some ways, at this moment, it really sucks. But in other ways, it would like a win would have been even sweeter, like to go up against a really good team, because I think one of the most beautiful things, and what sucks right now is like the loss, but is you want to go against a team that's going to force you to be better. And like obviously with those two on there, it was an incredibly worthy opponent, and you know, I think we were right there. I think
how many breaks were there?
One each. Yeah, so you know, it's the way it goes, and I'm not going to worry about it too much. Like that's a lesson for us weeks down the road to think about.
Last question here. Is there a moment or a point that in your eyes defined this final that we just saw?
I think the last point on when you guys got the turn back, right on the goal line, basically, you know, it's not going to be the death of our season if they score necessarily, but that's going to put us in a big hole, and to give ourselves a chance, I mean, that's the defensive energy we wanted out of this team.
Yeah, I think like we put ourselves in a position to win. I think that's a valid point. Like I thought I was going to get that D on Eric. He made a really good catch close to the ground. And then for us to like come back from that too, and then I didn't actually see how we got the turn, if we got a D or if there was a throwaway.
It was a throwaway to Noah. I think JR was really close though.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean like that, I was super proud when we they're 2 yards out of the end zone or whatever it is, and we're able to like commit to stopping that and not giving up, and then having a shot to win.
All right, well, thank you both for sitting down with us, and I know it's tough, but try to enjoy the rest of the weekend in San Diego. Brian
Thanks,
Jones,
fellas.
Chris Kocher with us here. We'll be right back with some folks from Ring of Fire.
Yeah, we can go.
We're here with your 2021 national champions, Ring of Fire. We've got Saul Yannick, Matt Gucciahannes, Noah Saul, and Coach Mike Denardis. Congratulations, guys. I want to start with a question for all of you, but maybe most of all for Noah. How sweet was this one?
Really sweet, man. Amazing. It feels great. You know, I've been on this team a while and played with a lot of great players, and you know, every year we've been right there, and it feels great to get it. And you know, I know there's so many people watching at home. Ring Nation is strong and huge, and I'm glad to do it for all those guys who wore this jersey.
You all have such incredible sideline energy in addition to intensity on the field. I'm curious what role your sideline and the energy you bring played in your success this weekend and then this season.
I think I would say the sideline is like an important part of like our existence on the team, like getting new guys to integrate and fully buy in. And so when you see all of the veterans giving their full effort and their full energy all the time, all of our rookies dive in head first. Like last season it was Connor Russell, this season Ben Dameron, right? Like these rookies are coming in and they're leading us from the sideline, right? And so when they go on the field, they're jacked up and they're ready to play hard. And I think that's just like a huge part of what it means to play for this team. And it's how that, like, no matter who we send out on the field, they're ready to go because of the commitment to doing that.
Yeah, we talked about being 28 strong, you know, all weekend, and I really felt like we were. No matter who was on the field, we were 28 strong.
That's great. I want to give you an opportunity. Are there any unsung heroes, just like you were talking about with your rookies, or even people who got a lot of playing time but might not be the big names that people know, that you think played a role in this big win?
I have one. Sure. It's not really under the radar, but like Liam Searles-Bose, right? Like that kid is amazing. He has been coming up through like all of our systems and he's committed to everything, and he's been like asked to do a really hard thing, which is play offense early in his career. And then this season we had the opportunity to put him on D, and he was amazing. He was amazing on our D line. He gave us so much confidence after the turn. Great at like complete executing his assignment. And you know, when we have such great talent and we can put those kinds of guys on our D line, it just makes the whole team feel so much better.
Jacob Fairfax, same thing. I mean, switched him to D, and he just played great, all nationals for us. Anders Youngst, meet him at the front cone, baby.
Yeah, baby.
PoNY played a lot of matchup with a little poach scheme all game long, and then late in that second half, they come out with that zone. What are y'all thinking?
Tasty.
Yeah.
Why give us a free goal at 11-11?
I think every one of us was thinking that.
Like, zone offense, that's easy mode for us. We could not be more comfortable in that setting. It was honestly confusing.
All right, well, with that, in general, you guys have a really effective small ball, disciplined style of offense where you're very comfortable possessing it. What do you, maybe for you two, what do you think makes you so exceptional at that style of offense?
These two make us exceptional at that.
I don't know if you know this. We've known each other since first grade, and we've been doing this together for a long time. So, I don't know, something mind meld.
Right. I mean, so like, Matt and I have taught 5 years of youth players how to run handler sets. Right. We've done that dozens of times. We're on the same page. We work on like all of our touchy break throws constantly, and then you add Anders and Dylan and Jack, right? And we are all just very comfortable throwing to each other. It's very simple. It's just built on reps. It's built on practice, right? And so it's just something we practice, and then we can put it out on the field. And because we've been doing it for so long, it doesn't matter if it's 8-8, 9-9, 10-10, 11-11, 12-12, right? We've done it a million times before. And like, that's a cliche, but it's super true.
For sure. So defensively, there weren't a ton of blocks. There was the one big one from Long down by the goal line. I think that block came from a defensive set that looked different than the other defensive set. So can you talk about what you were trying to do with that different look from that point?
Yeah, I mean, we started forcing a lot of middle and kind of made the adjustment toward the end of the first half to go more just one-way backhand, and then made another adjustment in the second half to try a little bit more junky, like have one guy over the top so the rest of us could play really aggressive on the unders, and that seemed to give him some trouble, so we stuck with that a few times. And you know, we're just really we're comfortable switching downfield, and we were able to just kind of let Fairfax sit over the top and kind of be free safety, and we were all just able to kind of be really aggressive on the short passes, and it paid off on that one.
No, I'm going to stick with you. Bit of a storyline coming into the game. Obviously, your brother's on the other sideline. What's this one feel like?
Oh, man. I'm excited for Thanksgiving now. No, I mean, he got one in 2018 with PoNY, and we lost in the semis, and I had to sit in the stands and watch him win and drink tequila, and I was really salty about that. And,
You were happy.
Yeah, happy for him, but, it also, I've been kind of wanting to get that, And so, we've sat at this table after losing several times, and it does not feel good, and it feels great to finally get one. He was talking a lot of smack before the game, and I was just keeping my mouth shut because I kind of had a feeling it was going to go this way. So now I get to talk my shit.
Stuff.
Whoa.
See if the censors catch that one. It feels like I was just talking to all four of you a month ago, winning an AUDL title. It's really tough to stay on top when you're on top. So I know there's a few different faces on this team compared to the Raleigh Flyers, but how do you manage the expectations and manage to double peak like that?
I think we have a history, we have a lot of similar players that play on both teams, and integrating, the pieces we had was pretty easy. Ryan was truly the only new person, but we're hungry, we've done this for multiple years, and this group is, the primary people in this group have done this for 4 or 5 years, and maybe longer even, and it's time. And I said it in 2019 when you guys asked, how does it feel to keep losing? Do we need to reboot? And I was like, it'll come. It just takes preparation and experience. And it happened with Dark Side, and now it's happening with Ring, Flyers. All the systems are in place. People are aging into it, and it's happening, right? So now it's because of that, we didn't get it too fast. We're gonna be hungry for a long time. This isn't the only time. I think now we're we got one, now we want more, and I think everyone feels like that, truly. And it's not an ego thing, it's just we were hungry for so long and not getting it, we're not full, and we have a lot to give.
Hey coach, hey guys, kind of follow up to that, the storyline for Ring of Fire has been losing in semifinals. So when did it feel before this game that storyline was going to flip? Because there had to have been a moment, or maybe there was a moment in time where you felt like this was the year.
Take it away.
I mean, honestly, for me, it felt like that back in April when we first started playing with Flyers. I mean, it just felt different. We had a great rookie class, great attitude. The team was just really cohesive and came together really quickly. And, we talked about all Flyer season, how it felt different. And after we won that, it kind of got over the hump, got through a tough semi there. Coming into this, it was all right, let's do it again. And I think from the first day we kind of came together as Ring specifically, it felt different, and we just kind of, at that point, already knew we were going to do it.
Let me bring you back to one other point in this tournament. It's the revolver game. It's universe points, pool play. They got the disc to score. They don't. It's a turn on the line. You guys score, you win the pool. That kind of really sets you up. That kind of set the pieces in an easier semifinal. How was that revolver game? How did that feel to you, and how did you withstand that tough challenge?
I mean, obviously it's great because it sets the table for us to have a really good path, but we plowed the road in the AUDL, and we went through the 3 probably toughest teams, and I was sitting there, at least personally, saying, win or lose this game, we're ready to plow the road because we're uber talented. And when we won, obviously I'm happy because I know the path's easier. But either way, we were prepped to go the distance one way or another. It just would have been a little bit different of a path. But yeah, I mean, I also say those kind of luck moments happen because you put so much pressure on a team through an entire game, and they finally get their relief and they throw it away, right? And that stuff kind of happens, and it worked in our favor this year because we constantly applied pressure to whatever team we were playing. Even here, we didn't close on a couple of them, but late game we got turns that we didn't in the first half because of the pressure. And, that's just that's the attitude we've always had as a team. And it set us in a good place, and I'm glad we won, but we were ready either way.
Zooming out a little bit, there have been so many iterations of Ring, so many people that have helped build this program. Are there any alumni that you want to shout out
who
deserve, their time in the sun after having put this year?
Josh Mullen.
Yeah, Mullen.
Yes, Mullen.
JD Hastings, Josh Hartzog. Got a lot of support from Brett Matsuka this weekend. Joey Curtella.
Taylor Pope, Augie Crevenas,
Ben Dieter, Dave Snoke,
Yes.
Jared Inselman, Tua Benson-Jaja. I mean, a bunch
Ken Porter.
KP.
Chris Bass.
Robbie Brooks, Tim Brooks. Damn, I could go on.
Alan Hoyle. There's just so many, and there's so many recent and so many historically, and it's just like when we won with the AUDL stuff, all of those, you don't feel like the love you feel. You know there's love there. When we won and everyone was like, you won. Like there was so much love and so much support because so many of those people, just like they gave the blood, sweat, and tears to do it. And like now that we've done it with Ring, who's historically had a bigger timeline before we did that, it's like, you know, like those people have bled with you for 30 years and like this is for them. It's for every one of them. Because I've watched so many dudes retire and I saw the sadness end of it, and like it's so like, you know, it fills your heart to like do this for those people. And like I know like Noah wanted this really bad, but I know like he wants it more for them than himself. And every one of us want it more for them instead of ourselves, even though we want it badly.
Yeah, I just want to say like wearing the symbol means a lot because of what it entails, like all of the effort and all of the commitment from decades of players who have worn the symbol. So every time when we put on this jersey, right, like I just try to touch the symbol and try to remember like who we're playing for. So feels good.
Yeah,
Can I give one more shout out? David Allison, who was on our coaching staff for a really long time, and he chose to coach Phoenix this year.
Yep.
And obviously he's doing a brilliant job, and like he was a huge support system for us for a really long time, and like he deserves a really big like shout to a lot of these guys.
He's part of this too.
Yeah.
Let's speak about that for a second. I know the support you've talked about a lot. With Phoenix getting this far too, you guys were on the sideline for theirs. Can you speak a little bit about the excitement you guys have for that team too, and for the success that the entire city, well, the entire community is seeing in this regard?
We're here to stay. Get used to it.
I would say it's now just kind of a race, I would hope. Like they're gonna get there very soon. I mean, you saw yesterday, like that team is on a trajectory unlike ours. Like we took a long time to get there. I mean, they're there. It took 1 year, right? It took like 2 years, but like they're there to stay, and they're going to be a brilliant team for multiple years. So I think we're going to have an internal competition now because there's a lot of talent on both teams.
Zooming way back in for our last question here. How did you approach trying to throw New York off of their reset game, and how did that approach change as the game went on?
Well, like we talked about, we at first we started trying to force a lot of middle and try and pin him to the sideline and just push everything negative toward the sideline. And you know that was kind of working, but they were able to get some kind of give goes off the line, and so we made that adjustment of trying to force more one way and really just be ready to jump on their up lines and try and just maintain that pressure. And you know we were able to kind of push Keegan downfield a bunch and put different guys in their reset space. And you know, eventually we got a couple of Ds off it, but yeah, just real little things and just technical points about which way we're facing our hips to try and drive them to the sideline. Little things like that just sort of worked.
Well, thanks again to Mike Donardis, Noah Saul, Magda Johannes, and Saul Yannick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Boo.
Thanks, guys.
Cap, circle.